Hey everyone, Larry Walsh here, Chillonomics, and I'm just getting back to the office after being away. I was over in Portugal last week, speaking at an event for global systems integrators um, on behalf of our friends at Hitachi Vantara, and I took a couple of days for myself. And Something I wanted to share with you over the weekend. I was walking through the center of Lisbon, through the main shopping district, and I came across a rather interesting sight. A few dozen Ukrainian refugees holding the silent or near silent protest. They were holding Ukrainian flags, banners, and signs imploring the locals and the Western tourists crowded in the streets to not give up their support of their country, to not give up the support in their fight for freedom and independence in the war that was foisted upon them by the Russians. And one of the ways that Western countries have been supporting the Ukrainians is through sanctions, preventing the Russians from acquiring goods and services and materials. One reason they impose sanctions is to punish the Russians for starting the war, uh, but also to hinder their ability to prosecute the war. Now, I bring this up because a few headlines caught my attention about the gray market. Now, the gray market's been around since the beginning of the channel. It's something that's been a thorn in the sides of vendors forever. It's when authentic and counterfeit products make their way into the supply chain through either fraudulent actors or unscrupulous resellers trying to make a quick buck. Typically, gray market refers to products that are being sold below market or without authorization or support. Um, but in this context, the gray market applies the way the Russians are getting their hands on technology products. Now, this has been one of the things that the US and European countries have been trying to stem is preventing the Russians from getting their hands on sophisticated technology that will help them fight this war. Um, just today, the Market Watch reported that a leaked customs document revealed that in August alone, more than 500 shipments of Cisco products made their way to Russia through the aid of a third-party country. How they made it through, or and what actually got through, is still a bit unknown. The value of the products that made it to Russia is not really known, but we do know that there's products slipping its way through the sanctions curtain. And last week, the folks at Extreme Networks reported to the government something similar. They discovered that some of their products made their way to a Russian arms manufacturer, uh, the same Russian arms manufacturer that's making the missiles that are hitting Ukraine today. Uh, how did that deal go down? Well, Extreme says in their report that there was a surrogate buyer, probably a straw man, that was sold to by a distributor. They didn't name it the distributor, but they said that a distributor was complicit in the sale that then turned the product over to this arms manufacturer. Now, this isn't some one-off purchasing that's going on here. This is actual state policy. The Russians have made institutionalized the gray market as a means of circumventing the sanctions. Um, since the beginning of the war, the Russians have purchased more than $6 billion in IT products through the gray market. And the Kremlin, and I say that again, the Kremlin is saying that that number could go up to 16 billion before the end of the year. Um, the response to this is still unknown. There's some speculation that the U.S. and other Western nations will tighten sanctions even further to prevent the Russians and their close allies like Belarus from getting their hands on prohibited goods and advanced technologies. Um, how effective will those additional sanctions be? I mean, Russia is currently the most sanctioned country in the history of the world. So it's hard to say whether more sanctions is going to make any difference. But it does again show that there's still a gray market out there, and it can be leveraged in multiple ways, including getting around these sanctions and in lines drawn on the map during wars. Well, that's about it for now, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you like what I'm doing here, please hit like, hit subscribe, tell your friends, and I'll look forward to talking with you all again soon.